Hello everyone, welcome to our another session. Today's concept is organizational conflict. Okay, so what is organizational conflict means? What were the positive and negative aspects regarding the organizational conflict, and what were the levels and types regarding the organizational conflict, and finally we'll see what are the measures to suppress the organizational conflicts. Okay, now what does conflict means? Okay, so conflict means in some form and degree it is part and parcel of virtually every part of human life, and hence organizations are also not free from these conflicts. Okay, so as these conflicts are within the human life, definitely it will result in organizations also. We will see in organizations also. Okay, because conflicts are part and parcel of the human life, and those people are working in organizations, so organizations are also not free from these conflicts. So organizational conflict means, according to Pondy, okay, he described that the term conflict is used in four ways. Okay, first one is antecedent conditions of conflictful behavior, such as scarcity of resources or policy differences. So conflicts may occur. Okay, conflicts may occur in the organization due to the scarcity of resources, or else policy differences, due to policy differences, because organizations consider of state of affairs. So these state of affairs may not be uh, received positively by the employees of the organizations. In that aspect, differences may occur. So basically conflict means a disagreement between the people, between the individuals. So the disagreement or differences, a hostility as atmosphere between the individuals. So we can conclude it as a conflict. So here the differences or the disagreements between the employer or employee, or else between the employees in an organization. The first aspect comes regarding scarcity of resources or policy differences. Okay, as Pondy described these conflicts, okay, he termed in four ways. So first, conflictual behavior occurs in an human or else an individual due to these scarcity of resources or policy differences in an organization. Okay, so as we are talking about organizational conflicts, so organizational conflicts within the organization may occur due to scarcity of resources or policy differences. Coming to second one, affective states of individuals involved such as stress, tension, hostility, anxiety, etc. Okay, so second aspect or second way in conflict. So the individuals, okay, who are under pressure of stress, tensions, okay, anxiety, hostility, okay, so all these may lead to organizational conflicts. Means the attitude or the level of the individual's nature. Okay, so it also leads to organizational conflict. Okay, at present, for example, any individual who is working in an organization is under a stress, under a family stress or else. Okay, so all these also leads his personal stress or tensions, also leads or also shows impact on the work environment. Okay, likewise cognitive states of individuals also. So that is their perception or awareness of conflictual situation. Okay, so this also leads, the situations in the organization also leads to the conflicts in the organization. So that is known as a cognitive state of individuals. Okay, the awareness of individuals regarding a particular situation. Okay, some may be aware of that this situation may lead to conflicts. So some members withdraw from that point of situation, or else some without awareness they will involve too much in the situations, so which rise to conflictual situations. So the cognitive states of individuals leads to the conflicts in organization. So this is another way. Next one is conflictual behavior ranging from passive resistance to over aggression. So this is the last form. Okay, so from we can say we can ignore also that type of conflicting behavior, but after some time that ranges from aggression, from passive resistance to minor resistance to over aggression. Okay, so aggressive nature, okay, of conflictual behavior also leads to organizational conflicts according to Bondi. Okay, so a conflict relationship between two or more individuals can be analyzed as a sequence of conflict episode, right? Again, the two or more individuals can be analyzed as a sequence of conflict episode. Means each conflict episode begins with conditions characterized by certain conflict potentials. The parties involved may not be aware of any basis of conflict and may not develop hostile relationship. Okay, so but however, each episode leaves an aftermath that affects the course of succeeding episodes. The entire relationship can then be characterized by certain stable aspects of conditions, effects, perceptions, and behavior. Okay, so it is not necessary that every conflict episode necessarily passes through every stage to open aggression, but some conflicts leads to open aggressions. Okay, so here conflicts may be categorized as functional and dysfunctional aspects. Okay, functional is nothing but the positive aspects and dysfunctional is the negative aspects of the conflicts. Okay, here if we go for negative aspects or else the dysfunctional aspects of conflicts, means we can consider dysfunctional aspects of conflicts as two types. Okay, so one is conflict as a cost and the other one is conflict as a source of disequilibrium. Okay, so conflict as a cost means here under conflict as a cost the managers plays important role in this organizational conflict, or else they will lead to the organizational conflicts. Why? Because according to Dalton, okay, he argues that one of the tactics of successful managers in the modern business organizations is to create confusion as a cover for the expansion of their particular empire. Okay, the manager may sometimes also create dissent and competition deliberately, intentionally, okay, among his subordinates. Why? Because in order to ensure that he will be brought as an arbiter at a critical time, he may bring as a facilitator, he may be treated as a mentor, okay, or else the compromiser between those parties at a certain point of time, at a critical time. Okay, so in order to gain from those situations, this manager tries to create dissent and or else competition intentionally among his subordinates. Okay, so this may become cost on the part of organization if at all the conflictual relationship blocks the realization of organizational or group objectives. If at all, if he create deliberately any dissent or competition within the subordinates, thinking that he may be treated as arbiter, but if he fails in resolving those problems, okay, within the subordinates, then it cost the organization's effectiveness. Okay, or else it blocks the realization of the objectives of the organization or group objectives. So conflict means, we can say finally that conflict is not necessarily a cost for individuals, but also sometimes individuals raise some degree of conflict and competition among themselves and their subordinates also, for better management of organizational affairs. Okay, so at the cost of organizational effectiveness, at the cost of organizational objectives. So this is a dysfunctional aspect regarding the conflicts. Another one is conflict as a source of disequilibrium. Okay, so another aspect is conflict as a source of disequilibrium means here the equilibrium of the organization can be understood in terms of contribution inducement relationship. Okay, so contribution and inducement relationship will be affected, but here we are saying disequilibrium. So disequilibrium means here contribution and inducement relationship is not in a good wave. Okay, so contribution inducement relationship means here each element of organization, human as well non-human, contributes something to the organization in return for some inducements. Okay, so organization is said to be in equilibrium if inducements exceed contributions for every participant, and in disequilibrium if contribution exceed for some or all participants. Okay, so disequilibrium means contributions exceeds. Okay, and now coming to functional aspects or the positive aspects. Okay, these positive aspects leads to, okay, uh, conflicts provide opportunities to individuals and groups to think again and take a more concrete view of the situation. Okay, and this leads to innovation as conflicting situations always present threats to the working. In order to overcome the threat, individuals and groups have to find out new ways of working. Why? Because in order to sustain in the organization, okay, they have to work in a conflicting situations also, think innovatively, then only they can succeed in the organization, they will sustain in the organization. Okay, and conflicts brings cohesiveness in groups. This happens more in the case of intergroup conflicts. Okay, so due to conflicts also cooperation between the individuals can be seen. This happens more in intergroup conflicts. Okay, because if for example in departments, if we take marketing department and production department, they have may occur intergroup conflicts. Okay, between the marketing and between the production department. Okay, but even though there is differences between these departments, but the group people of marketing and production, they will work unitedly. Okay, they will think unitedly. So in this way cooperation or cohesiveness can be seen in groups. Okay, so we can say conflicting nature also leads to cohesiveness in groups, and conflicts provide challenging work environment as these develop high degree of competition. Okay, so conflicts also results in a challenging type of work environment. This ultimately leads to the organizational effectiveness. As conflicts develop among various individuals and groups, these indicate the shortcomings in the existing system of organizational functioning, and management attention can be drawn for overcoming such shortcomings. Okay, and finally, conflicts may be used as a device to overcome many frustrations and tensions. People may express their frustration and tension by means of conflicts. Then they are relieved, okay, from utter mental tensions. So relief is also a positive aspect regarding the conflict. Okay, so likewise, functional and dysfunctional aspects can be seen in the under the organizational conflict. And coming to the levels of conflict. Okay, here Under levels of conflict, we will study the types of conflicts also. Okay, so these are the levels of conflict: individual level, okay, group level, organizational level. So these are the three levels in the organizational conflict, and each level has different conflicts, different types of conflicts. So while studying levels of conflicts, we are going to study about the types also. Okay, so now if we go for another slide, here see individual level conflict. First one, here see, this is individual level, group level, organizational level conflicts. So if we see individual level conflict, so what are the types of individual conflicts? Okay, so what is individual level conflict and what are the types of individual conflicts? One is intra-individual and the other one is the inter-individual. Okay, so now let us see what is individual conflict. Okay, so the analysis of conflict, okay, the analysis of conflict may start at individual level itself. Since an organization is composed of various individuals, many conflicts develop at individual level only. Okay, so individual level conflicts may be analyzed in these two ways: intra-individual and inter-individual. Okay, so here, even though actually if we want involve into a conflict, means definitely two parties should be there. Okay, then only conflicts arise. But here if we see individual level conflict, okay, it may also take place within an individual itself also. Here no other party will be involved. Here conflict can be seen within the individual only. Okay, so that is a individual conflict. So conflict at intrapersonal level occurs because a smooth progression of the need drive goal cycle does not occur in reality. That's why intrapersonal level will be seen in an person. Okay, intra individual level conflict can be seen. Okay, so these are the two types, intra individual and inter individual. Both are conflicts only which are done in the individual level conflicts. Okay, so within the individual, what were the conflicts? Okay, so within the individual and here between the two individuals. Okay, here no other person will be involved. Okay, here within the personal space of this individual only these conflicts occur. If we see here inter individual, okay, inter means between two persons. Here two persons will be involved, conflicts arise between two persons. Here only one person is involved, conflicts arise within him only. But in what way conflicts arise within this individual? Okay, so one is goal conflict and the other one is the role conflict. So within an individual conflicts arise. Why? Because regarding the goal conflict, regarding the role conflict. Okay, and if we see here inter-individual, inter-individual means, as I said before, between two persons in an organization. So here it may be vertical conflict or horizontal conflict. We all know vertical conflict means this one, horizontal conflict means this way. Okay, so here vertical means we can see superior subordinate relationship. Okay, so conflicts may arise between the three levels of management. Okay, so top to down. Here horizontal conflict means same hierarchical level conflicts arise. Okay, for example, conflicts arise between marketing manager, production manager. Both are managers only but different from different departments. The hierarchical level is same, they are both are the managers only but departments are different here. So we can say that marketing HR or else marketing a production department, but the level of the individual conflict is horizontal. Here superior subordinate conflict can be considered as vertical conflict, right? Now coming to intra individual conflicts, goal conflict, role conflict. Under goal conflict, what are the aspects that are going to be studied. Okay, so under goal conflict, okay, these are the three types or else three approaches that can be studied under goal conflict. Okay, so why goal conflict occurs means goal conflict occurs when two or more motives block each other. Okay, so if a person is having two or more motives, okay, so at that time there a conflict arises between an individual within an individual to select which motive. Okay, so likewise conflict may arise. For example, if an individual want to study MBA, okay, so in that MBA what to choose, if he want to go for uh, uh, MBA finance or else MBA HR or else MBA IT or else MBA hospital management, likewise different branches will be there. So here a goal conflict arises, what branch he want to take, likewise. Okay, so goal conflict means conflict arises within a person when there are two or more motives. Okay, so these two or more motives block each other. So there can be three alternatives of goal conflicts. Okay, so those are the three conflicts are approach conflict, approach avoidance conflict, avoidance conflict. Okay, so coming to approach conflict. Okay, what does approach conflict means? In this situation, okay, in this approach conflict, the individual is caught between trying to decide upon one or another of two attractive goals. Okay, so which are mutually exclusive. So approach conflict hardly seems to be a conflict as others, because whichever the choice the individual makes, he will attain a positively valued outcome. Okay, so here the problem where occurs means when the valences or desirabilities are roughly equal. So for example, if we go for the same aspect MBA, okay, so MBA in under MBA, if we want to if he want to take HR, okay, or finance, okay, at the end of the degree, okay, if we want to take at the end of the degree, so both gives the same uh, result. Okay, so likewise, but he has to take choice that whether to study HR or whether to study finance. Okay, so here the result will be positive only. Any branch if he studied means at the end of the day the certificate will be given as the MBA holder only. Okay, so he has to decide. So goal conflict arises whether to choose HR or whether to choose finance. Okay, so this is approach aspect, means at the end of the day both gives the positive result only, but he has to decide whether to take this or whether to take this. Okay, so two motives will be there, two gives the positive impact only, but he has to decide. So that is known as the approach conflict. Okay, coming to another one, approach avoidance one. Okay, so here in this situation the individual has both positive and negative. Okay, positive and negative. Okay, so under approach avoidance, positive negative aspect can be seen. So here that is why goal conflict arises. So the individual has both positive and negative feelings, okay, about trying a goal, because the goal possesses both attractive and repulsive characteristics. So attractive means positive, repulsive means negative. Okay, so positive can be seen from that goal, negative can be seen from that goal. Okay, so here It has been observed that when goals are at once satisfying and once at threatening, means we can say that pleasant and painful uh, conflicts can be seen here. Okay, so here we can say that goal conflict arises whether to go for approach, whether to go for avoidance, because one gives positive aspect, one gives negative aspect. Both are the motives of the individual, but one gives positive, one gives negative. Okay, so he has to avoid this and go for this positive aspect. Okay, so the result is a stable or self-maintaining conflict, okay, that tends to keep the organism at the point where the two tendencies cross. So this type of conflict is quite relevant for organizational behavior. Okay, so here we can say that approach avoidance conflict means, okay, a goal possess both attractive and repulsive characteristics. Okay, means one's satisfying and the other one will be threatening. One will be pleasant, other one will be painful. Okay, and other one is avoidance. Okay, so avoidance means here where individuals choose between two mutually exclusive goals. Okay, goals will be there. Okay, two goals will be there, but two goals will give negative impact only. Okay, so for example, if any person, okay, working in an organization, any employee working in an organization has disagreements with the organization. Okay, so he cannot stay in the organization. Okay, or else he cannot work in the organization. He has a third alternative. Okay, what is the third alternative means? To leave the organization. Okay, then only that conflict can be settled to that particular individual. Okay, individual, for example, in avoidance goal conflict, okay, the person, an employee, may not perform his job. Okay, and second aspect, he cannot align his objectives with the organizational or departmental objectives. Okay, so finally what should he do means, he cannot work in the organization. Okay, so he has to leave the organization. So those are both the negative impacts. He has to go for third aspect, or else third alternative is to leave the organization. So that is avoidance goal conflict. Okay, so these are the goal conflicts under intra individual. Okay, so coming to role conflict. So what does role conflict means? Role conflict means when expectations of a role are materially different or opposite from the behavior anticipated by the individual in that role. He tends to be in role conflict because there is no way to meet one expectation also without rejecting the other. Okay, so before coming to the job, before coming to that job position, okay, he expects other things. Okay, but in reality, okay, it may differ. Okay, and as the individual expected, okay, it may be different. So he tends to be in role conflict. Okay, because there is no way to meet his expectations. So how to perform this role, because expectations differ from reality. So now in that person role conflict arises. Okay, so what are the four there are four types of role conflicts. Okay, so what are those four role conflicts means? uh, First one, there may be intra-sender role conflict. Okay, so intra-sender role conflict means where the expectations from a single member of a role set may be incompatible. Okay, so intra-sender role conflict, within ourselves we have expectations. Okay, as a person, as a single member, I have certain expectations where I perform my job role. Okay, but expectation is different from the reality. So there is incompatible. So here exists intra-sender role conflict. Okay, this happens when a person is called upon to perform a work within specified limit, but it cannot be possible to do the work within that limit. Then intra-sender role conflict arises. Okay, so for example, I don't have technical knowledge. Okay, but they have given me a data. Okay, regarding this technical knowledge, so I cannot perform that work. Okay, so at that time, whenever I cannot perform that particular work within a specified limit time, okay, so there exists intra-sender role conflict. Okay, so that is known as intra-sender. Coming to second aspect under role conflict. Okay, so okay, first one is intrasender and second one is intersender. Okay, one is intrasender and the second one is inter. One is intrasender, second one is intersender. Okay, so under intersender, okay, intersender role conflict means where expectations sent from one sender are in conflict with those from one or more other senders. Okay, here role conflict arises between two people. Okay, so that is known as intersender. Okay, so regarding the work or else regarding any other expectations. Okay, so the sender may be one person or more persons. Okay, so that is a role conflict under intersender. One is intrasender, one is intersender. Intrasender we may not perform. Under intersender also the expectations and the work that we perform may not be same. Okay, in that way role conflict arises. Okay, and third one is inter role conflict. Okay, first is intra sender, second intersender conflict arises, and the third one is inter role conflict. Okay, so inter role conflict means when an individual occupies two or more roles simultaneously and expectations associated with those different roles are incompatible. Okay, here inter-role conflict means between two roles. Here this one person is performing two roles. Okay, so he is performing two roles, one person. Okay, one person performing two roles. So at this time inter-role conflict arises. Okay, he cannot perform full-fledgedly to this job or to this job. At this time he cannot he cannot justify to these two jobs. At that time role conflict arises, and this is known as inter role conflict. Okay, third one. And coming to the fourth one, there may be role self conflict. Okay, role self conflict. Role self conflict means it occurs when role requirements violate the needs, values or capacities of the person. Okay, so that is known as role self conflict. Okay, so when a person, when he violate the needs or the values or the capacities of a person means definitely personally that person has role self conflict. Each and every person has certain principles, certain values, okay, and certain needs and capacities. Okay, so if at all he is not reached to those aspects means definitely self conflicts arises, role self conflict arises. So these are the four aspects or else four types of role conflicts under the role conflict. Okay, so we can treat all these as types of role conflict. Okay, so here again I'm repeating, the different types of role conflicts are intra-sender, inter-sender role conflict. Okay, and the third one is inter-role conflict, and the fourth one is role self conflict. Okay, so under role conflict, what were the factors that lead to role conflict? Okay, so if a person is performing a job, okay, so why or if a person is performing his role in an organization, okay, what factors lead to the conflict, role conflict? Okay, so first one is a role ambiguity. Okay, so, what does role ambiguity means? When role expectations are inadequately defined or else substantially unknown. Okay, role ambiguity exists. Okay, ambiguity is nothing but the vague, okay, unclear. So if whenever a person is unclear or else vague about his role expectations, okay, then role conflict arises. Okay, so here if expectations associated with a role are unclear or ambiguously defined, the individual will experience difficulty in enacting the role, in performing the role in the organization. So role ambiguity and consequently role conflict also increases when there is lack of role continuity. Therefore all this leads to the role conflict in intra individual conflicts. Okay, coming to second one, organizational position also leads to role conflict. So organizational positions also determine the role conflict and ambiguity. So this is so particularly when a person has to perform variety of organizational roles assigned to him, as I said before in this here. Okay, when a person in third aspect, okay, when he is performing two job roles means definitely role conflict arises regarding the resources or regarding the position, different aspects. Okay, so likewise here also organizational position, okay, if at all he is performing more than one role position means definitely while performing his formal roles, okay, which may be mutually incompatible with informal roles, at that time organizational position leads to role conflict. Okay, so as this person is known as middle man in the middle or marginal man, okay, or else a position of supervisor, he is known as man in the middle. Okay, so one set of expectations of his role is that he is part of management team and should have the corresponding values of and attitudes as a team member. Okay, if we go for example supervisor, okay, so he has one set of expectations that he is the team member of the team according to the and also work according to the corresponding values and attitudes, and at the same person has to work accordingly the expectations that he came from workers group and should have their values and attitudes, and at the same time management also treat him, okay, and according to management rules and state of affairs he has to work according to the top level management. Okay, so he has to perform as a worker with as a member within the team, and also as a member in the top management he has to see the state of affairs are being properly executed in the organization or not. Here conflict arises, okay, to which values he has to fulfill regarding the members or regarding the top level management. Okay, so conflict arises in the mind of supervisor to which expectations he should fulfill. Okay, so this is organizational position. Coming to personal characteristics, okay, role conflict also arises because of personal characteristics. Okay, so these if we see that several personality dimensions mediate significantly the degree to which a given intensity of objective conflict is experienced as strain by the person. So personalities will be introvert personalities, extrovert personalities. Emotional sensitivity will be more to some persons. Flexibility and rigidity will be there. In some persons will be more flexible. Some person will be very rigid. Okay. So likewise, all these leads to the achievement orientation. Okay. So the degree of personal involvement with his job affects the role conflict. Okay. An individual who is strongly achievement oriented person means, okay, he exhibits high degree of personal involvement. Okay. Why? Because his nature is achievement oriented. If at all he is achievement oriented nature means, definitely he will perform high degree of personal involvement with his job and adverse effects of role conflict. Okay. Means here we can see personal characteristics also a factor to perform role conflicts. Okay. So this is about the intra-individual. Coming to inter-individual personal conflicts. Okay. So one is vertical conflict, other one is horizontal conflict. So as I said before, vertical conflict means conflicts arise between the superior and subordinate relationships. Okay. A subordinate may resist, for example, uh, if we see superior attempts to control the behavior of his subordinates and subordinates resist such control. Okay. So a subordinate may resist such control as he feels that he is superior. His superior tries to control activities outside the scope of his control. Okay. And he perceives that conflict with his superior and the latter may feel when his attempt of control is thwarted. Okay. Likewise, in this aspect, in control aspect only, if we take means there exists conflict between superior and subordinate. So this is known as the vertical conflict. Okay. So this also may lead to serious problem to the efficiency of the organization. Their relationship affects utmost in the organization. Okay. Because they are the persons to work very cooperatively in the organization to increase the productivity of organization. But if at all there is any vertical conflict means, definitely it affects the organization's effectiveness. Okay. So another one is horizontal conflict. So horizontal conflict means at interpersonal level it is among the persons at same hierarchical level in the same function or in different functions. As I said before, marketing, production. Okay. Two departments. Okay. Two department managers may have conflicts. Okay. So it may be in functioning or else it may be regarding the departments. Okay. So there may exist the conflicts between the hierarchical levels. Okay. Regarding the information giving and taking, soliciting advices in form of counseling. Okay. Or else regarding the skilled assistance of taking in the taking into the department. So many in many aspects. Okay. Because between departments there will be many interactions between the departments. So interactions contacting with other people regarding information. Okay. Exchange of informations or else regarding any advices or else regarding any skilled assistance. Okay. In difficult situations. Likewise, at that times problems may arise, conflicts may arise between the departments. Okay. So what are the reasons for these? Okay. What are the reasons for these vertical conflicts or horizontal conflicts means, basically first the nature of the person. Okay. First one, what were the factors means nature of persons. So nature of persons means the type of person involved in the interaction process determined to a great extent the degree to which the interaction may be cooperative or conflicting. That is the nature of the person. If the person, the degree of the person, okay, is cooperative or conflicting in nature. So depending upon that, these vertical or horizontal conflicts arises. Coming to second one, ego states. Okay. So people interact with particularly ego states. Ego states are the persons way of thinking, feeling, and behaving at any particular time. So if ego states are not complementary, okay, if there are conflicting situations take place, then people, okay, that type of people, that type of ego state, okay, leads to the conflicts. Now coming to third one, value systems. Okay, so what does value systems means? People having different dominant value systems may develop conflict in their interaction also. Okay, so value system is a framework of personal philosophy. Okay, each person has different values. One person differs with other person's values, okay, which governs and influences individual reactions to any situation. Okay, if at all a situation is there, two people are involved in that situation but differ in their values, means definitely there exists a contradiction between those people. Okay, so likewise, people having different value systems may interpret the things differently and situations differently, which may ultimately reflect the choice of different methods of working and behaving also. So such differences become the basis of interpersonal conflicts. Now coming to another aspect, socio-cultural factors. Okay, so another one is socio-cultural factors. So what does socio-cultural factors means? So people coming with different socio and cultural backgrounds may develop conflicts among themselves. Many interpersonal conflicts based on caste, religion, region, family background are based on differences in socio-cultural differences. As we are now seeing MNC companies, means different people from different areas, different cultures, okay, work in a particular place. Okay, so here so due to differences in their socio-cultural aspects, okay, so some depending upon their people ego state and nature of person leads to conflicts, okay, regarding these socio-cultural aspects. Okay, so another one is situational variables. Okay, so what does situational variables means? The various factors, as we discussed above, are related with persons concerned who are interacting themselves. But here there are many very several situational factors which also generate interpersonal conflicts. These factors either generate the conditions under which the persons having personal differences, okay, may heighten these or may sink these differences. Okay, so personal differences or else may increase this situation. If at all there is any situation arises, means conflicting situation, it depends upon the personal differences and also it depends upon the complementary differences with that situation. So it depends upon the person also. Okay, so how the person is concerned with those situational variables. So here personal differences also can be seen in these situational variables. And another one is interest conflict. So interest conflict means the most important situational variable is when people in a group or in intergroup see their interest differently. Okay, so this may not be because of the basic nature of the man, but may generate because of the situations. Okay, so people have different permutations and combinations in order to protect their self-interest if the situation so wants. Okay, though such grouping of persons may be based on several other factors, or often the conflict of interpersonal interest is one of the main reasons. So interest conflict is also factor for inter-individual conflicts. Okay, because definitely person's personal interest dominate other situations or else other factors. So depending upon personal interest only people behave. Okay, next one, role ambiguity. So role ambiguity is one of the reasons for role conflict. However, it may also develop into inter-role conflict, especially if various roles interacting have not been clearly specified. Okay, so this role conflict, okay, this role conflict also leads to this vertical or horizontal conflict. We all know What are the factors of role conflict? Okay, role ambiguity means unclearness, defined, undefined role. Okay, so this leads to the conflicts within the employees in the organization. Okay, so this is about the individual level conflict. Now coming to group level conflicts. Okay, so what are group level conflicts? So group level conflicts are the conflicts which occur at group level. Okay, as group constitutes two or more persons who interact in such a way that each person influences and is influenced by others. Definitely we know that group means persons, individual persons will be there, one more than one person will be there. Okay, definitely persons will be influenced by other persons. Okay, so group exists in every organization and they affect the behavior of the other fellow members. So they not only affect the behavior of their members, rather they have impact on the other groups also. Okay, in organization. So in this interaction process there may be two type of conflicts. One is intra-group and the other one is the intergroup conflict. Okay, one is intra-group and the other one is intergroup conflict. Okay, intra-group conflict means here it may be a group is consisting of a number of persons whose interactions at a given time generate a system of values. Okay, under intra-group each group has its values. Okay, values, norms. Okay, values, norms and sanctions appropriate to the nature of the task on which they are working, and which has created a set of well defined role and status relations. Okay, which are independent. So a group is consisting of values and norms. Okay, at the same time well defined role and status also. Okay, so here intra group conflicts may arise. Okay, in three situations. So intra-group conflicts means conflicts arise within the group. Why? Because intra-group have different values, norms, roles and status relations also there. Between the differences may occur between all these aspects, and intra-group conflict may arises. So basically intra-group has three situations. Okay, so what are those situations which arise intra-group conflicts? Means first one, when group faces a novel problem of task. Novel problem of task is nothing but new problem that is faced, that has never faced before. Okay, so at that time differences in the values, differences in the norms, differences in the roles also, status also leads to the intra-group conflicts. Okay, so where new, and the other one is where new values are imported from the social environment into the group. Okay, at that time also intra-group conflicts arise. Why? Because predetermined values and norms will be there in the group, but now whenever a person or any other members want to import new values, okay, which are from social environment, then problem arises, because some people may accept, some people may not accept those new values. So at that time intra-group situation, intra-group conflict arises. So where, and the third one is where a person's extra group role comes into conflict, okay, with his intra-group role. So intra-group conflict is visualized more when people come from different socio-economic backgrounds and have different political and religious views. Okay, so this disagreement may be over ethics, the way power should be exercised. Okay, so here we can say that in third aspect, extra group role comes into conflict. Extra group role is nothing but when people come from different socio-economic backgrounds and is a member of this group, so that impact will be there in this group whenever any decisions were going to be taken. Okay, so that person's socio-economic background impact in this group decisions. Okay, at that time intra-group conflicts may arise. Okay, now coming to intergroup conflicts. So intergroup conflicts means here conflicts arises between the two groups. Okay, so that is known as intergroup conflict. So intergroup conflict arises out of the interaction of various groups. There are many factors in the organization which determine the intergroup relationships. These factors can influence relations between two or more groups. If these factors are not positive, they tend to create conflicts. Okay, or else if these factors are goal incompatibility, resource taking, sharing, task relations, uncertainty absorption, and attitudinal set. So if at all these factors exist means definitely this leads to the intergroup conflict. Okay, so what are the factors? Okay, we will see what are those factors that lead to intergroup conflicts. So first one is goal incompatibility. So goal incompatibility means the goal of two groups can have a powerful impact on their relationship. Okay, so decision makers often use goals to indicate their relative preference. The accomplishment of the stated goals of each group may require interaction with one or more other groups. So, the ideal state may exist when each group perceives its goals as the goals of the organization as a whole and goals of other groups as compatible with one another and mutually reinforcing. Okay, so here, whenever groups are having a compatibility, okay, similarly they are going on hand to hand, okay, no problem arises. But whenever goal compatibility is not there, which is known as goal incompatibility between two departments, so goals are different, okay, then definitely there arises the conflicts. Okay, so that is known as the intergroup incompatibility regarding the goals. Okay, so if we go for for example line and staff departments, we know that there will be differences between line and staff, so we can consider that as goal incompatibility regarding the intergroup conflicts. So likewise, next coming to resource sharing. So resource sharing means intergroup conflict arises because of this scarcity of resources or else resource sharing. So the relation between two groups can be affected by the degree to which two groups draw from a common pool of resources and the degree to which this common pool of resources is adequate to meet the demands of both the groups. Okay, for example, always there will be differences between management and labor union. Okay, so likewise in relating to the wages or else relating to providing the amenities or else working conditions. Okay, so that is resource sharing. In that aspect there will be differences between the management and the labor union. Okay, likewise task relationship, so this also leads to the intergroup conflict. Okay, so each group in organization is related with other as these are created through organization structure. Okay, so organization structure is the result of organizing process through which departments are created for achieving organizational goals. Here there should be a functional relationship between various groups. Okay, so here interdependence and dependence will be seen in these groups, okay, or else departments in the organization structure. Okay, so whenever groups are independent there will be no conflicts. Okay, but whenever two groups are dependent means definitely due to the resources or else due to the tasks, okay, or else due to the goals in any aspect, okay, in performing the task between these two departments, okay, conflicts arises. Okay, so this is known as intergroup conflict regarding task relationships. Coordination may not be existed between these two departments. Why? Because why coordination should be there means because these two groups are interdependent, not dependent. Okay, not independent departments. Okay, so if we go for example marketing and production, okay, so both marketing and production both are interdependent, okay, not independent. Interdependent means definitely they have to work both work at a time. Okay, but if at all they are not working coordinatively, okay, so then it results in the organizational effectiveness. So therefore coordination should be there between them, collaboration between them, a joint responsibility should be there. Why? Because they have to work, both should work, both are interdependent. So collaboration between them should be seen, coordination should be seen, joint responsibility should be seen, okay. A dependent task relationship exists between the two groups, okay. So all should be there. So for example, if staff department influence in the decision making process, well, in excess of the advisory roles assigned to them, the conditions for conflict exist, okay. So likewise conflict exists in task relationships. Why? Because here decision making has taken by the staff people, okay. As we know, we have line people and staff people, okay. But line people will execute the decision making, but if at all in this case, if we see, for example, staff people have taken decision making, means conflict arises between the group, okay, between the group regarding the task, okay. Likewise absorption of uncertainty, another aspect under intergroup conflict. So absorption of uncertainty means since organizations are open systems, okay, and their elements like various groups face uncertainty, okay. So uncertainty means it is the gap between what is known and what needs to be known to make correct decisions. That is known as uncertainty, okay. So in order to manage uncertainty, organizations assign certain groups or individuals to deal with it. So thus a group may absorb uncertainty of other groups, okay. So for example, the accounting department may prescribe the rules for traveling expenses to be incurred by the marketing department. So thus the marketing department may be relieved of uncertainty of how the money should be spent on traveling, okay. Why? Because it is decided by the accounting department only, okay. So likewise the conditions for conflicts exist if uncertainty absorption by one group is not in accordance with the expectations of other group. As I said now, okay, if marketing department, okay, and accounting department, if we take accounting department and marketing department, okay. So traveling expenses, if we go for traveling expenses, okay, so the uncertainty regarding this traveling expenses will be cleared by deciding this accounting department, okay. The conflicts may not be before that. Previously marketing department only is paying traveling expenses, but now according to the top level management decisions, accounting department is only clearing the traveling expenses. This is no way related to the traveling expenses, okay. But when conflicts may arise between these two departments, accounting department and marketing department, when they may exist the differences or conflicts means whenever the expectations of marketing department is not reached by the accounting department, at that time both departments will have a group conflict, okay. So here we can say that in order to reduce uncertainty, okay, absorption of uncertainty, organizations assign certain groups, okay. So if such groups does not meet the expectations of the other group, okay, conflicts arises. So this is another factor. And coming to attitudinal sets, the sets of attitudes that members of various groups hold towards each other can be a cause and a consequence of the nature of their relationship, okay. If the group relations begin with the attitude of distrust, competitiveness, secrecy, and closed communications, there is a possibility of various factors of group relationship being emphasized in a negative way, consequently leading to conflicts, okay. Definitely attitudinal sets leads to intergroup conflicts. Why? Because attitudinal sets means, for example, as I said before, distrust, competitiveness, secrecy, closed communications. Okay, so definitely all these may lead to intergroup conflicts. Okay, trust should be there between the departments, trust should be there between the groups, open communication should be there between the groups, no secrecy should be maintained, then no conflicts arise. But if at all secrecy maintained, closed communications, distrust between the groups, competitiveness is more. Okay, so all this leads to organizational conflicts, group conflicts. Okay, so coming to third aspect. Okay, organizational level conflicts. So what does organizational level conflicts means? So in any organization, organizational situations like conflicts may manifest itself in a number of different modes. Okay, so conflicts within the organization or between various organizations means we can say that inter-organization or intra-organizational. Inter-organization means conflicts arise within the organization. Intra-organization means between the organizations. Okay, that may be one organization may have differences with the other competitors, or organization may have differences with government agencies, or different organizations may have within the organization means we can take, for example, head office and manufacturing unit. Okay, so this is within the organizational level, and these are outside the organizational level. These two are organizational level. Okay, outside the organizational level, and this is within the organizational level. So this is inter and this is intra. Okay, this is intra. Conflicts head office and manufacturing unit can be considered as intra. Okay, this is intra organizational conflict. Okay, and these both are inter-organizational conflicts. Okay, so inter-organizational conflicts may include conflicts between organizations like pursuing similar objectives at that time. Okay, or else conflicts between government agency and organizations. It may be relating to the policies of the government and policies of the organization. If at all they contradict means definitely conflicts arise with government agencies. Okay, and coming to conflicts within the organization means a conflict with head office and manufacturing unit may occur regarding many aspects, many functional aspects of the organization. So this is the organizational level conflicts. Now coming to what were the measures of conflict management. Okay,